Today's topic, 15 signs he wants to break up. Today I want to share the 15 signs with you that you absolutely have to know in case you're thinking right now, or let's better say in case you have a gut feeling that your boyfriend wants to break up with you. And one of the first things that you have to be aware of is how he acts whenever you show affection, whenever you try to kiss him, whenever you try to hug him, whenever you try to cuddle with him. Does he want to hug you? Does he kiss you back? Does he enjoy cuddling with you? Or do you have the feeling that he just does it, out of obligation, he doesn't really enjoy it, or he even walks away whenever you try to get close to him? This is one of the clearest signs that your man, your boyfriend, thinks about breaking up with you. But even if that's the case, even if you're now living in a relationship that has once been very affectionate, but now your boyfriend is no longer affectionate, you can still rescue this relationship and you can make him devoted to you again. And if you want to find out how you can make him devoted to you, then you can click on the link in the description and watch this video till the very end and discover how you can use the devotion sequence to make your boyfriend, yes, even though he might already be thinking about leaving you, how you can make him devoted to you. Of course, I can't give you a guarantee, but a lot of my Skype coaching clients had success by using the devotion sequence, and I'm very sure that you also will experience amazing results with this program. And if you want, you can of course also work with me, and then you can click on the second link in the description and find out more about Skype coaching with me. But what you also have to do is to ask yourself, how does he actually react whenever I ask him, is everything alright? I'm sure you've asked your boyfriend in this situation, hey honey, are you okay? Is everything alright between us? And if he then acts emotionless, and this emotionless action can be expressed in many different ways, then he might have lost interest in you, he might not love you anymore, and then he might want to leave you. And when it comes to these emotionless expressions, he either nods in a really emotionless way, just like, yeah, honey, it's all okay. And he says the typical, don't worry. And he says it in a way that makes you worry. I mean, if a man says, don't worry, honey, it's okay, and he says it in a really emotionless way, then there's a reason to worry. Because if you are in a relationship with a man who truly loves you, who is already devoted to you and who doesn't want to leave you, he will kiss you, he will hug you and say, honey, it's all right. You don't have to worry about anything. And he will express his love for you. But if he doesn't do that, then he might no longer love you, or at least he's slowly losing interest. And in this case, it's time that you make him devoted to you again. And what if he tries to turn normal conversations into arguments? And this is something that a lot of men do, or let's say people in general do that. I think both men and women do that when they plan to get out of a relationship, because they want to create this drama which then allows them in their subconscious mind to justify why they are leaving the relationship. I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but a lot of people do that when they are in a situation and they want to break up with their partner. For example, you have a normal conversation with him and suddenly he gets aggressive, he turns it into an argument, and you don't even know why, because you haven't done anything wrong. But he does that so that in the end, he can say to himself, or in the worst case, if he tries to manipulate you, then he will also say it to you. He will then blame you for the breakup, and he will say, oh, we were fighting all the time, we just had these arguments all the time, even though he was the one who created them. And if he goes on a date with you, but he's completely absent, and he might even stare at other women, and he might not even try to hide it, and he also does that because he wants to create a fight, he wants to create tension that then allows him again to justify why he leaves the relationship. It's a weird psychological thing that human beings do when we are in the position when we want to leave somebody. We always find a way, or let's say our subconscious mind always tries to find a way to justify our action. And even though there might not be any reason that justifies him leaving, but when he wants to leave for whatever reason it might be, then he will create these justifiable moments. And as a result, your boyfriend might create drama. And what if you ask his best friend if everything is alright with him, and his best friend gets really uncomfortable? If you, for example, ask his best friend, do you know if something is wrong with him? Is everything okay with him? And his best friend goes, I think everything is alright, you should talk with him. When you hear this sentence, you should talk with him, or I don't want to get between you guys, then you know that something is wrong. And if you find text messages on his phone that a good boyfriend shouldn't send, and by that I mean flirty text messages to other girls or even exchange of explicit pictures with other women, this is something that a good boyfriend shouldn't do. And I don't want to tell you that you should look at his phone. That's always one of the trickiest questions, and I don't want to answer that for you. A lot of my Skype coaching clients ask me, Sebastian, should I look at his phone? If my girlfriend would check my phone, I would feel emotionally hurt. But I also don't give her any signs of, you can say signs of wanting to break up with her, signs of wanting to cheat on her, so she doesn't have any reason to look at my phone. But in your situation it might be different. That's a question that only you can answer for yourself. And what if he reacts in a really weird way when you tell him how much you love him? You say, honey, I really love you. And he replies with, I have to work now. And you think, what? I just told you I love you. Yeah, I have to work now. Love you too. And he says it in a really emotionless way. Or he answers with, you are so cute. That's something that guys love to say when they're in a situation when you tell him I love you, but he doesn't love you back, and he just tries to find a way to make you feel good without saying I love you. And then he will say something like, oh, you're so cute. Then you should be aware. Or in the worst case, he just smiles and walks away. And what if he slowly removes items whenever he visits his family? And I mean he removes items from your apartment. Let's say you live together with him. You live in an apartment or in a house. And you get the feeling that week after week, more and more of his stuff moves to his parents. And when you then address the issue, he might come up with a weird excuse of, I don't really wear that shirt anymore. I just thought I'd give it to my mom. Or, I didn't really use that chair anymore. I thought my mom might need it. This is a clear red flag. And when this happens, then you should do everything in your power to make this man devoted to you again. Because no matter how bad the situation is, you can always rescue a relationship. And if you want to use the devotion sequence, then you can click on the first link in the description and watch this video till the very end. And if you want to work with me as your coach and you want to share your story with me, you want me to help you with your individual situation, then you can click on the second link in the description and find out more about Skype coaching with me. And what if he seems to have zero interest in working on problems and on improving himself? Or let's say improving his behavior in your relationship. He's just completely disengaged. And whenever you try to start a conversation about a certain problem and you try to fix a problem, then he just disengages even more and he says, I don't have time for that. Come on. Always these arguments. That's a clear red flag. And it's also a clear red flag when his texting communication is no longer existent. And yes, I expressed that in a really complicated way. That's the German in me. Let's say it in a simpler way. He doesn't text you back, but instead he might be texting other girls. And what if he used to say I love you all the time, but now he no longer says it? He shows no expression of love, no verbal expression, no physical expression, no expression at all. He no longer gives you the feeling that he cares about you. This can be a sign that he thinks about breaking up with you. And he no longer wants you to see his family and friends. This is a big red flag, and also a huge sign that he wants to break up with you. Because his family and his friends might already know you as his ex-girlfriend, and he no longer wants you to spend time with them because he knows it would be very awkward. And he no longer initiates intimacy. And the most painful thing about this will be that if you try to initiate intimacy, he blocks you. And this is a clear sign that something is wrong. He either thinks about breaking up with you or he's cheating on you. That's something that I can honestly tell you as a man. If you are in a relationship with a guy and you know for sure that he's physically attracted to you, but he blocks every attempt of you being intimate with him, then his heart is somewhere else. And then there's an emotional problem. Even though a lot of my Skype coaching clients had the belief before they started working with me that all men can separate the physical part in a relationship from the emotional part, most men are not able to do this, especially when they were once really in love with a woman and now they are no longer in love with this woman. And if that's the case for you, if the man you're in a relationship with is blocking your attempts to be intimate with him, then something is wrong on the emotional level, and then he might be thinking about breaking up with you. But this also means that if something is wrong on the emotional level, that you might be able to make him devoted to you again. And the last sign he wants to break up with you that I want to share with you for today is that he doesn't show any public display of affection anymore. In case you are from a culture where it's normal that you don't show any public affection, then of course it's a different story. But if he used to show public display of affection, if he used to kiss you in public, to hold your hand, to snuggle up to you, to hold you in his arms, and now he no longer shows any affection, and he also no longer shows any affection at home, this can be very painful, because then you feel like you're walking with a stranger, and then the only option is to make him devoted to you again. Otherwise, he will break up with you. And if you enjoyed watching this video, if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below. Share your opinion, share your thoughts. I would love to hear from you. And I would love it even more if you would hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell so that you get notified whenever I release a new video for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video.